So, a bit of foreshadowing by Jin in the opening scene where she says, "What is the responsibility for those with power? And those with the most power have the most to answer for." Welcome to my She-Hulk episode 1 review. Hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. It's so good.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the people are protected by two separate yet equally important groups. The heroes who save them, and the attorneys who clean up their collateral damage. But only one can be both. This is her story. Dun dun!
So, Hulk's big cousin training moments were so great. You could tell, despite Jin seeming to not care about all the Hulk research he's done over the years, Smart Hulk was still tickled green to finally have someone who is a Hulk, assuming Banner doesn't know about Abomination, but maybe he does. So little things like Punk, little Punk and Fuzzball were so cute, especially when you see Jen smile and she's so smug in joy, or she flips him off. So it's just kind of like that cousin relationship that's really good for the story. Another thing too, Hulk got serious with Jen at some points, and he had to tell her hey, this is how the world will see you if you lose control, if you rage out uncontrollably. They will see you as a problem that won't go away. His words exactly, which is very true. We saw this happen to Hulk in Age of Ultron. He completely wrecked that city in Africa, or Wakanda. So that was pretty damaging. So he doesn't want that to happen to her going into this, which I don't think she will, because she's very level-headed. She has a very strong motivation and goals, and character presets that she has already within her before the Hulk transformation. So I feel like she's already good. This is really good writing, and that kind of shows, because at first when Jen was somewhat frantic and worried about her new powers, as if it was an inconvenience or a roadblock in her career, but as she trained and found out more about it, you can see her lean into it more, kind of come into her own. And even further though, she really comes into her own at the end when she transforms and is accepted by the public. It's incredible. Their minds were blown in that moment. So that's pretty good. The thing she was most worried about that ended up skyrocketing her career. That's crazy. And how would she even know that, if she didn't try? So I feel like personally, this is how you write the quote unquote girl boss, or the don't worry, she's got help for strong females, by showing how career focused she is, that nothing can stop her from achieving that goal. I feel like this statement embodies real life female empowerment. How many RNs and lawyers who are female see themselves in this positive light? Pretty sure a lot. So, and I know they exist, I promise, but it's just not praised enough, which is great that this show highlights that. Another point too, let's see, she was so invested in her career that she fought Hulk to let her leave. Let me say that again. She fought Hulk and won to go back to her career. Yes. There are only two people who have done this before her: Iron Man and Thanos. Maybe I'm tripping, but maybe she let him. Okay, whatever. But remember when people were upset that by the trailer that Hulk threw the boulder and she threw it further than him and all this other stuff? Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that to make a claim that she's stronger than Hulk until Marvel proves us otherwise and does either Planet Hulk or World War Hulk. Balls in your court, Marvel. You don't have the balls to do it, because we all know Hulk is really, really strong. But you got to show us that. So another thing too, maybe Bruce let her win because he's probably tired of being a hero now. I mean, Natasha is supposed to be there with him and starting a new life. That has to demotivate him every day. So he's getting by, and maybe he just, it's not just him, it's not just Bruce. Almost every Avenger has retired in some sort of way, or pass the mantle to someone new. And that's understandable considering everything that they've been through together and individually. It's time for fresh, familiar faces. So, or we get like we get boomer memes like the "No, I don't think I will," and or something else. But this show will empower a lot of women, and they deserve this much more. They deserve this and much more right now. Seriously. She-Hulk in every stand-up aspect of her is genius writing a Stan Lee, having a Hulk as a lawyer and a female at that. And I actually did some research, and her character, the creative process, Stan Lee, he was actually rushed to create She-Hulk. So I didn't know that. And it just shows how genius he is. Under pressure, he can pull that off. And it was to kind of compete. I think it was with like Batgirl in the time, and because they had the Adam West Batman show, so they kind of try to compete. But that was a pretty cool tidbit of information that I came across. But director Kat Coiro said that showing that side of Jen / She-Hulk's life is fundamental to what the series is about. So she completely understands this legacy character. They clearly want Marvel fans not to have any bias going into this. Even though many have tried, I don't know how many people, or women especially, knew about She-Hulk before this, but out of all the female Marvel characters we've seen so far, I think it's safe to say that She-Hulk will be #1 fan favorite, along with Mantis, Wanda, Okoye, Shuri, Kate Bishop, and Yelena, who are already loved so much more than others. And it has to do with writing. Captain Marvel wasn't great. Black Widow felt like it was 2015, and most recently Mrs. Marvel wasn't well received. So Marvel, you gotta fix this going forward. They should all be written as good as their fictional peers. There's no excuse. If Marvel messes up Cassandra Lang, I swear to God, I'll never watch another Marvel movie again. I swear, she's my all-time favorite. I'll lose my shit. The first Avenger movie, like, solid writing, so much so that side characters like Agent Phil Coulson got his own show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Side characters like Maria Hill, who will star in Secret Invasion. Took long enough, but she was received very well, and is also a legacy character in the comics. Like, she's Fury's right-hand girl. Like, that's her role. So I can't stress this point enough, because I understand the experience is different when reading a comic versus watching a movie and even a TV series. But the source material is so abundant when it comes to Marvel. The MCU is basically screenplay adaptations with a Disney budget at this point. That's pretty much what it is. Which means beyond the sky is the limit for them. So I don't want that statement to sound demeaning in any way, because there are thousands of artists who work hard over the past decade on these films, and I know I firmly speak for the fans when I say I don't want every amazing moment in movie to be for nothing. Like, Marvel, don't drop the ball now. We've come so far. So I know I got off track, but I've grown more cautious with the MCU over the years. I think a lot of people have, and that's okay. A lot of people have fallen out, not gone to the movies and stuff like that. But I mean, they're still pumping out stuff. Pandemic and stuff. That's kind of still here, but we're able to manage it better. So it'll probably help. But back to Jen. She's admirable, and that will show when Jen really starts saving people. She'll be thorough, mindful of civilians. You could tell, you could see that. Maybe because she recently just was a civilian and understands the terror and fear of these disasters and destruction. Or maybe she just doesn't, based off of this clip in the trailer, but we'll see. Civilians getting harmed in the wake of superheroing is something that the Avengers themselves have immensely struggled with. Even though it's not their fault mostly, because of the world-ending threats they are facing, you can't save everyone sometimes. But my point in all of this is maybe she looks into the Sokovia Accords at some point, maybe. Now that she can be liable if a rescue or civilian, goes awry, who knows? Maybe. And that's an important point, because I say that because Thunderbolt Ross himself enforced the Sokovia Accords. If you know anything about that name, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
I'll just leave it at that. We'll see. We'll see. He asking for too much. But,
if you know, you know.
I also liked how the other female background characters were so, overwhelmingly supportive towards Jin without even knowing her. It was so sweet. I hope to see those bar girls' reactions when they see that Jin is She-Hulk. And even the guys that were harassing her, and especially the guy at the beginning who doubted her closing line, like his ego is going to be crushed. And is going to be crushed to like ass kiss her, and like rightfully so. So, she radiates confidence and like level-headedness even before transformation in like every aspect and situation. You could really tell. She very early on in the episode, she crashed the car and was still able to get herself out and Bruce, and was like calm and level-headed. So she didn't panic at all, which is crazy. This was before She-Hulk, all that stuff. She's a regular human, regular Jen Walters. Boom, save Bruce from herself and Bruce from a car. I was flipped over. Insane, man. But yeah, I was sort of expecting, the run-of-the-mill corny MCU jokes that the MCU has grown to be known for at this point, but not with this. Like, this was very different. This was situational comedy. This was more situational comedy than verbal jokes, and that brings out characters' personality more than just a snarky remark over and over again. Just tit for tat, back and forth. Like, the situations that they're put in is almost comedic to a certain extent. So it's like, they're still quippy and snap back at each other, but it's the situation that makes it bearable almost, So I don't think people will have a problem with the jokes, which are very light in this. So, and I mean, there's a lot going on. There's 2 CGI green people on the screen, so, which I do think, I don't know that much about CGI production, but I noticed that they were in Mexico or whatever, on Bruce's island, private island, and there's a lot of green shrubbery and stuff like that. So I wonder how hard that was, or if that was intentional, just to kind of ease the eyes from seeing green so much, because the background, there's forests and trees and stuff like that, palm trees. So I did pick up on that, my second watch. But things like Bruce punching off a cliff and her bed breaking, coconuts being flung at Hulk, and it's like paper balls bouncing off his face, or Titania saying, "Who the hell are you?" when I bet money most people don't even know who she is. So this is just refreshing all around, because the reactions to her or any character's situation make sense, and then you see how they react or their true character. So it's really good. I am curious who the main antagonist will be, and how Jen will handle losing a case, if she will lose a case, or if like the defendant she's prosecuting has done something so horrible she loses her control, like she loses her cool and hulks out. Like, it will be moments like that we will really see her shine. I feel like I'm very much looking forward to seeing Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Enough said. I mean, I've seen the whole Netflix series, Charlie Cox, phenomenal. Kingpin's already there, so I forget his name. I think it's David something. Sorry about that. And also Bullseye. I want to see Bullseye come back. He's really cool. He's really cool. So a couple of things though, Wong and Abomination seemed innocent from this clip from the trailer. So it definitely seems like he's maybe not evil, rather guilty and proven innocent. So maybe that's where he plays into this, which is hilarious. Like, it's Abomination, like he's supposed to just be pure evil and on the same par as Hulk, if not better than him. So definitely want to see him in this and what his role is. Definitely his character designs with the fins coming off of the side of his head, and just kind of looks more like a sea creature than Abomination, which makes sense. Kind of on par to Doomsday for Superman for DC, kind of on par with that. So I really do look forward to seeing that. Yeah, another thing too, I'm curious when this takes place, because obviously it's after Endgame, because Bruce heals his arm with the help of Jen, by the way, which is great. He could Hulk out again and has his arm. You know, that's a great sacrifice he did, and he finally got his arm back. So, yeah, the spaceship was a Sakaar spaceship. If you watched Thor Ragnarok, it was a Sakaar spaceship. So I don't know what's up with that. But then it made me think, okay, because this was just random. I mean, she's just driving it, just the spaceship comes down and then they crash. Like, so I'm wondering if Kang still had something, if this was still planned, if he still planned stuff or not, because that was totally random. And Bruce just kind of shrugged it off. He's like, when you're a Hulk, these kind of things happen to you randomly. So I don't know if Kang had pre-planned that or not. Maybe not, but as he would say,
you just walked down.
But, I would like to see it explain how she breaks the fourth wall, you know, as well, because I forgot she could do that. I'm gonna be honest. In the beginning, when she looked at the camera, I was like, Marvel has been doing this a lot. You know, Wanda, when she looked in the camera, now She-Hulk. So, but it's easy with She-Hulk. Wanda is just like, get out of my soul. But yeah, so that's another thing. Also, if she could break the fourth wall, Deadpool can too. I would love to see an interaction with them. She-Hulk. And single Deadpool, who has the title of Merc with the Mouth. I'll just leave it at that. So the back and forth is going to be epic if they ever do that, but we'll see. There's a lot to look forward with She-Hulk. The resolution and character development was so smooth. I had to remind myself that this was the first episode. It's just beautifully written, produced, and casted. Very much. You could tell. And will Banner show up again? I don't think he will. Maybe for advice. We'll see. And because that send-off seemed kind of permanent, you know, he's like, Jen was like, see you at the next family dinner or whatever. He's like, bye, fuzzball or whatever. So, but it's okay, because I fully trust the direction Koro is going in. I like the direction. I fully trust it. So, incredible stuff. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
It's bigger! It's better! Ladies and gentlemen, it's too much for Mr. Incredible! Whoa, ho!
It's finally ready! Huh? Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
30 pounds, 30 ounce, I won't peek at you. Moving slow, my coke came from Peru. Yellow black bracelet, look like Pikachu. Stone cold, my Stone Island, posted on the roof. Hey, go get Ina in it, knows better fortune. Shawty bad, yeah, she gorgeous. Red bottoms, sky red bottoms, but they orange. She want the lean, do his other boys be boring. Love when she want me in the morning. Keep a chainsaw and stack in my storage. I'm styling got no further than before. Get your eyes and you scrub it, I don't feel like you. See the